Welcome to the complete animation of Jessica Rabbit from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Now, Jessica Rabbit is basically the poster child for being a character that is overly sexualized. It's like that is the entire point of her design. Everything about her is to be sexualized, to emphasize the portions of the female physique that appeal to men. And she certainly does that, but she's also not very attractive. Like that's how it is. Overly sexualized but not attractive. And animators know how to make attractive female characters. They do. They know how to make them attractive. And Jessica Rabbit isn't. She's just sexualized. She's not ugly. She's not, like, it's weird. And like, yeah, she's one of the standout features of this movie for being just so overly sexualized. But the movie itself is actually really interesting. I don't think that the movie is like, I don't think the narrative of the movie is all that strong. I think that all of the stuff like, oh, there's this special liquid that can actually kill cartoon characters, whereas cartoon characters can't be harmed otherwise. Like, that's basically the beginning of edgelord stuff in animation. But the animation itself is actually really impressive. The actual character animation is somewhat impressive, but the really impressive thing in this movie is how they are able to mesh these traditional animation frames onto live action. There have been many videos around on YouTube that really showcase exactly like how impressive it is, but some of the things that really stick out to me is how often the camera moves and the characters work with a moving camera. I have no idea how you would even plan around a moving camera like that and have characters moving with the camera in a way that looks good. There is a ton of behind the scenes videos showing how there are like wires and rigs and puppet hands that move around just to be covered later on with the animation. The sheer technical aspect of this movie is really impressive. And I really just wish that this character, Jessica Rabbit, was more attractive. It's like, yeah, they got the really heavily sexualized stuff down. You know, she's thin waist, wide hips, large breasts. Like, they got that. The revealing dress. They have all of that. Why couldn't they have, given her a better face? But, I guess it is part of what they're going for. They're trying to have this character be, a callback to the golden age of animation. Back when people thought Betty Boop was attractive in some way, shape, or form. And it just doesn't do it for me. Her face is just not attractive. It's almost featureless. Like, what, she has a dot for a nose and clearly, like, painted on eyebrows. And I just think that the ending of this movie was way too drawn out. It's like the movie was trying to revel in the fact that it was letting cartoon characters melt into a painful death. And like one of the things about this movie is like there are so many different characters and the designs of them just vary wildly. There's Roger Rabbit, who has an okay design. He's way too like goofy and over the top for my tastes. And then there's the weird like baby character who has his, on-screen face and performance, which, is all right. It's a little too cutesy wootsy for me, but then they do the whole edgelord thing of he's actually a deep voiced, grump of a character who has a bit of a foul mouth. And that's, who he is when he's not, playing the cutesy wootsy baby character. Just, I honestly think that the Chippendale Rescue Rangers movie of a few years back has the much better story of, this kind of movie. But I do think that this movie has much better visuals. I really think that just the way that the cartoon characters look in this movie is really good so much of the time. Not necessarily their character designs, but the way that their existing designs are made to interact with the real, film. It's really impressive. But overall, like, a bunch of people, like, they really disliked that Chippendales movie. They said it was nothing but cameo bait, and the way that they made the characters look in there just didn't look very good a bunch of the time, where it was like they tried to have basically like a 2D filter put over 3D characters. And those are all, valid criticisms, but when it comes to live action movies that have cartoon characters in them, and those cartoon characters are being a part of a story that is, surprisingly mature, quote unquote, I just think that Chippendales Rescue Rangers is just a better movie. So, one of the things that really stuck out to me while watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit is obviously the scene where there's this really famous video about pushing the lamp, or whatever it is, moving the lamp, where there was this one scene where there was a lamp that was being knocked around by characters constantly, and the animators spent so much time to make it so that not only did that lamp look good in the film part of it, they went frame by frame and made sure that the shadows that it cast on the animated characters also looked really good. And when I, watched that part of the movie for myself, it was really impressive. And I do like the vibe that this movie has going, because clearly the animated characters are a fantastical element, but I think just the world that the real people live in is also a very fantastical world. It's a fantasy sort of adaptation of an idea of an era, specifically like the 1920s-ish. So I think the movie is all right, has some really impressive animation and some really wildly varying quality and character designs, and some character designs just aren't appealing, like the oversexualized Jessica Rabbit. Thanks for watching.